Um, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. It's, it it is working now. Oh. um, good evening. Oh dear. I'm so nervous for no reason, I swear. Hi. I'm sorry we have like no audio, no background music. I didn't know what to pick, so I just you can listen to your own. I'm going to listen to my own. It's so nice to see that you actually came to see me. I don't know. It's very exciting. It's wild. And now I have my um first mod to say. Um, that's flat. That's manager. And there she. But yes, welcome. Thank you for coming to see me. And we are going to be drawing some of you all today. I have um I have yeah, for reference kind of the style we're going for because I was going to be way too nervous and I tend to forget these steps because normally normally when I draw these like 9 groups of VTubers, which I have done for a longer time, from way before I started like being Shinon to say. Oh my, wait, wait, I tend to like literally just get on a sort of trance, draw all of them in like 6 hours, and then don't do it again for months. So I tend to forget how to do them a lot. happens, happens way more than I expect. That I forget how to draw my own art. uh, um, I suddenly noticed that I don't know how to read the chat at the same time that because I have the full screen on. Help! It's okay. It's okay. I'll figure this out. I'll figure this out. I remember. I remember. There must be something to do. There must be some way to do it. Help! No, I do not know. I do not know. I did not think this through. Oh, I forgot you can do that. Yes. Oh, of course. Thank you so much. Uh, yeah. Oh, that that is very nice. Thank you so much. But yes, and also we did have a hidden one because I suppose that it will be fun to show you how I make the sketches. So I'll draw that one later. And we start with that because I like to go in order. I have everyone's references here. Isn't that cute? Look at that waifu. Adorable. Oh dear. Why do I keep talking about? Haven't streamed so long. We want to go for a kind of snazzy but pointy style, but still round and cute. Software? Uh, software. I only use Painttool Sai. Do you say Sai? Well, Painttool Sai. All of my art is done inside and it's done with only one brush. I only use one brush because I don't like the others that much. Only the one I'm using right now. Let me. It's like this. Sometimes I add or lower the noise, but it's the only one I use for everything, for painting and for the line art and for the sketches, which can be a little bit annoying because I can't because it's texture. I can't use the bucket to fill everything in, so I always have to paint over. But that's okay. That's okay. I like it a lot more because I don't have like I'm not very good with technical things, so programs like Clip Studio Paint are a little too much for me. So I prefer more of the as closest to uh not traditional, but the easier it is for my brain to just pick something and start drawing, the better it is. Yes, one brush to rule them all. As you will probably see later, at some point, I truly prefer to just pick something and do everything by hand instead of like using programs or stuff. I think the people that can do that are really cool. They feel like very smart to me. I can't. So I will do things in the most complex manner, the most time consuming manner sometimes, just because it's easier for my brain to handle it. Because, like, I don't know if you know, you probably don't know, but I'm actually like an animator. Like, I'm actually a professional animator. I went to college for that. But things like Live 2D, they do escape me, or things like what do you call it? Motion graphics, like people who do stingers, or like if you have seen like I say like a lot. I'm sorry. Um, like Utaites, you know, people who cover songs and they do these videos in which they make things move around and the lyrics show up and everything. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. When they say animation, when they look for people for joining chorus collabs, I have no idea about that animation. But I can animate by hand. I can animate traditional. I can make I can make little anime characters move, and I will do that instead of using graphic motions because it's easier for me to understand how it works. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn. Yes, but it's, my brain isn't the smartest. I'm not very what do you say? Tech savvy? Tech savvy? Tech savvy sounds cool. So I'll go with that. It has merit to do everything by hand, but of course, in something like today's world, it's very expensive, so help much. Of course, in the industry, we work with rigs anyway, so one has to learn. Anyways, that's just how things are. And I think that's wonderful, anyways. Progress is a wonderful thing. I'm sorry that I'm making your ears fluffy, because fluffy ears are so cute. mm, there is. But sometimes it does feel like you're left behind. This whole thing about how easy of sorts it became to have moving pictures. It's not easy because like the skills are like low or easy to acquire. No, it's not. But it became such how would you say that? Not that a standard. No, yes, it is a standard. It's an industry standard because it's less work to say, less expensive, more convenient. It's hard to do. The programs are really hard to master. Rigging it's really I cannot understand it, but it does feel a little like things are being left behind sometimes. But don't take them from me. I prefer doing things the older way around. I try to get because I don't like when I bake using an electric mixer. I try to get one of those old ones that you just move around and move a little like arm so it turns, and that's how you get your dough mixed, because I don't like the noise of the electric mixer. So the most primitive way you can do it, I tend to prefer that. So don't take my word for that. Change is scary though. It is. Change is really scary. But comfort is also really scary. There are so many things that are so much easier, and that's wonderful. Not everyone has the privilege to be able to do the things I say I prefer doing by hand. So I'm glad we have those alternatives. But it's scary. It's very scary to see things being left behind. Harem. I did not say harem. I'm so sorry. That will be really funny. Uh, I need to cut here because we have a really, really small, cute dead finger. You are half online. That's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. My English can be a little really messy because there are many words that I don't know how to pronounce, and manager sometimes makes fun of it because there are words that I pronounce. So I'm not going to say that it's bad. It's really bad. Most of the English I know I learned from reading. I was not a great talker when I was younger. Even my Spanish leaves some like no, not the best. It's not the best. Leaves something to I forgot to. English is my second language. VTuber. No, 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 no. Oh, you're all great friends. You're all great friends. I'm I mean, everyone is free to do what they want, so if you want to be in it, feel free to. But but you're all dear friends of mine. Cute eyelashes, very cute eyelashes. Spanish is my main, English second. Yes, yes. Spanish is my mother language. Mother language, native language. Uh, but my Spanish is also isn't the best because even for Spanish speakers, the Spanish I speak, it's a little hard to understand because it's a very local Spanish of sorts, and the slang can be really weird, and we do talk very fast too. So we do tend to say that it's our Spanish, regular Spanish, and Castellano, which is Spain's Spanish. We tend to separate. um, Glasses just make it more interesting. I don't think that most people that come from places that don't speak English do speak English because it's one of the most global languages. That's why also I prefer English. It has a little separation. Things in your native language tend to feel a lot more personal than things in English, so it's really easier to use in an emotional way. But I do think most people that don't have English as a first language tend to know a fair bit. At least today. Today, there, of course, there is a lot of people that don't, and that is a great privilege to have. Especially since I didn't have to like go to classes to learn. Just used to watch videos and stuff. And that's how I got here. Videos and reading, and that's why I can't pronounce things. I try learning Spanish, but all I can do is say hello and ask for a beer. That's that will get you far. That will get you really far. That's more than enough. But I recommend that you learn how to say thank you, please, and goodbye too. At least here, people are very particular about their manners, so I do recommend that no one will really blame anyone who clearly doesn't speak Spanish but not being able to speak it. But it, it will make you a lot more likable to say, a lot more um, appreciated by the locals. English is hard. It is. English, it's really hard because it's a sort of amalgamation of uh, German, Romance languages, French, and whatever else. Very particular. But even then, Spanish is also a mixed bag of things. We have a lot of words that come from Arabic, thanks to the time that the Iberic Peninsula, I think, the place where Portugal and Spain are, was conquered by them. So words like albahaca or alfajor or jardín come from there. So it's also a big of a myth. It's really interesting to see how languages evolved. Yes, romance languages. No, it's not the hardest stream. Romance languages are the languages that I think it's related to Rome. So they are called Romance languages, like all the languages that derive from Latin. That will be French, I think, Portuguese, Spanish, Italian. Then, if you do speak any of those languages, you might find that words tend to repeat. So it's easier for you to understand when, for example, if someone in Italy tells you something like, I guess, pantalon, pantalon. I don't know how to say in Italian, but I will understand that they are talking about pants. But I can read Portuguese and kind of get the gist of what they're saying. They are called Romance languages instead of Roman for some reason. Romance tongues. We call them lenguas romances. It's very funny. Also, romance itself, aside from love, it's also something like related to literature. An era like modern, like the modern era of philosophy doesn't mean that it's right now. That will be contemporary. The modern era of philosophy, it's around the illustration times, the times where Kant was alive. So it's really funny to see that they are actually classifications and not the real meaning of the word, or well, the common meaning of the words. It can get really confusing sometimes. Really fun, really funny. But I will stray away from the concept of modern philosophy because I have very strong opinions about that. No, I don't. I don't. I just think that it was very affected by Catholicism. No, I'm not going to talk about philosophy. Don't make me. There is a topic that I love about philosophy, but I talk to everyone about it. No, don't make me. We are going to get bored. uh, for contest, I mean contest for backstory time. I studied philosophy for around a year or so in college before I became an animator. That's why I'm very into philosophy, even though I haven't read much. I think the last thing I read was part of the Tractatus, the philosopher, something that Wittgenstein made. I forgot the full name, but it's the Tractatus. Existentialism. I haven't read enough about the proper theory around existentialism. My strong point will be the thing that I love the most, which is the sublime. So I rather not jump into that, not knowing fully what I'm talking about, that kind of thing. But I don't want to research. I want to go back to reading. I have some books there that I need to check. But I'm very bad at reading now. After I burn out of reading so much, laptop tends to struggle. I hope it's not doing like background noise. But it should be working now. It should be okay because I have a lot of things turned on right now on the laptop. But it will be okay. It's not a debut stream if there's no scuff involved. Of course. It's not even a debut stream, really. It's just a stream, and I sadly lost the process because I forgot to say. Please always save your files when you're drawing. I'm sorry. I really find it funny because I tend to say, but not concentrated right now. I'm struggling. So if you can, please remind me to save. Please. Nande. Nande. But that's okay. I can just I'm going to focus a little so I can get us where we were. It's on the art. There he is, the boy, the wife. I promise it's not a harem stream. Again, it's not a harem stream. Just because romance languages are romantic. That's the word, romantic, from Rome. Doesn't mean it's a harem stream. Harem stream. No. I hope my laugh is not too loud. I laugh a lot. I do laugh a lot. I'm a really giggly person. Cute. I guess it is cute. Thank you, manager. My friend once lost around 30 pages worth of his thesis to power. Oh no! Oh my god, no! I feel bad, so bad for him. I feel so bad for him. When I remember something really similar happened to me. Not that bad, but when I was in philosophy, there was a time that I forgot that I had a presentation and I had to submit an essay with a presentation. I did not do well, by the way. I did not do well, but so I drank some energy drinks, which I never do, and spent the whole night reading the book while I made the presentation and wrote the essay at the same time. So, and I was like halfway done, and like my computer back then did not get along with Windows 10. It was an older laptop, and it died on me. I was about to have a meltdown breakdown because it was like 4 hours till I had to present. I did not do well in it anyways. He overdosed on coffee and rewritten it in a night on here for surprise. I feel that so badly. I'm glad he managed to. I'm glad. But the drive that a student has like 5 hours before they have to deliver an essay that should have taken weeks to make. Wonderful. 10 out of 10. I actually got a top grade once doing the same thing but with another essay. So that's funny. And now, the reason I didn't do well in the presentation wasn't because it was bad to say, but the professor then told us that we actually had like only a third of the time that they told us originally to present because we had delays on the schedule. And I was really interested on the topic actually. So I forgot about the time and I kept talking and I kept talking and I kept talking. And the professor got mad at me because I couldn't stop. But I was so interested. The topic was the Homo ludens, which is an philosophic anthropology theory on. There are multiple theories on what makes a human, you know. And the Homo ludens talks about the reason why humans are humans and why we act as a society is because we like to play, and it's really interesting. I really love that book. So I kept talking about it. There is a part of the book that goes into linguistics about the meaning of the word play, and it's totally not relevant to the thing we had to present. But I was talking so much. I was talking. But it's really good. It's really good. It talks about the fact that religion and things like courtrooms or like that kind of weird pressure that you get when you enter any situation, like you're in a fancy restaurant, so you dress up fancy and you act elegantly. All of that is part of play. It's a play of pretend, and we use that in society everywhere. And it's one of the few theories that involves the body as part of what makes a human a human. Really good. And the whole topic of anthropology in the philosophical field is also really good. It makes you understand a little bit why things like emotions are seen like so badly. Long ago in the ancient Greece times, in the ancient Greek times, there was a philosopher which I forgot the name of right now, which it was probably one of the big names like Plato. Need to think about the English names of them, but I think it was Plato or those kind of big names, and they talk about about a theory that talks about the logos. The logos, it's a really broad word. It includes communication, it includes emotions and other things, connection. And then, when it got translated into Latin, they decided to translate the logos as like conscience, like a rational thinking, rationale, the homo rationale, which changed how people view themselves a lot, because any person who wanted to be sort of an intellectual decided, oh, we are rational animals. What makes us human is our ability to think rationally, which means pushing aside your body, pushing aside your like to say animal instinct, pushing aside your emotions as they are seen as lesser things. And isn't that kind of very unhealthy? Isn't that kind of not good for you? But it still holds strength until today. Oh, right, I forgot about Aristotle. He was a great guy. He was a great guy. But I do tend to forget about him because the most that we researched was Plato and things about like how Socrates might have been just a creation by him and other stuff. I read The Republic. I'm still mad about the last chapter of The Republic and the end, but I'm not going to spoil over 3,000 years old book. It was really a fun read, anyways. But I like specifically about Republic. One thing is that because of one sentence, Socrates implies that he thinks that barbarians might be able to have great societies. Barbarians being anyone who isn't from Greece at the time, which is really interesting to me because most people did think as barbarians as primitive, violent people. That's why they call them like that. Well, barbarians actually comes from the fact that they are from Bavaria, It's a song that's in Germany right now, I think. Cute fluff on the ears. Yes, fluffy ears. That deserves the fluffiest of ears. I'm sorry about the whole ramble about philosophy. I know it's not the most interesting topic, but it's lovely to see how people thought in the past. And now, even now, it's not like things have truly changed that much. We fear change. I do fear change, but humans have remained the same kind of lovely, slightly stupid, and maybe cruel sometimes, but most of all they remain the same kind of adorable, the same kind of inspiring through the years. I find that very lovely. Philosophy skeleton, keep talking. Thank you. Like, if we think about people from the past, I might tear up a little. I might cry a little, sob a little. But have you seen about remains of all groups of people that showcase how caring their communities were? Just lovely. How people that by their injuries should have not survived nearly as long as they did, but they were well taken care of by their communities. One of the first advancements in history back in the time of, I think it was after the Neanderthals, but around there, was proper medical amputation to save people's lives. Isn't that just lovely? That one of the main ways we progress is to help others. I just find it adorable. I just find it really good. It makes me emotional. I love almost every philosophy book from the 19th and 20th. Did I say that right? I hope so. The century starts with the author Don Shinon, everyone who came before. It's true! It's true! Almost every philosopher from that time tends to have such a big ego. It's kind of hilarious, but also can get tiring, very tiring. But after seeing my professors and reading about the history of many philosophers and seeing how their own lives affect their philosophies, it's philosophy. Anyways, it kind of wrecks your mind a little. It's kind of hard to not be a little uh, weird on the head when you study philosophy, myself included. We also kind of ate the Neanderthals. Of course, we did. We absolutely did not treat other humans very well. Uh, then again, I hope that if a sort of evolution war came to be again, you do not eat humans. Please do not eat humans. It's not healthy for you. Wait, what? Wait, that's a weird sentence. Wait. I, for legal reasons, I do not engage in cannibalism. I use research alone. Oh my goodness. I just told you that I'm weird on the head, and then I told you that humans are not healthy to eat. But yes, the humans have too much protein that's really close to the one that you need because, of course, you are the same species. So it builds up and it can create prions or prions, I think prions, and those things are going to ruin your health. No, don't point fingers on me. I promise you. I was just researching about illnesses that you can get from eating human brain, because it was really interesting to learn about kuru, which is an illness that some tribes that will eat the brains of their people that pass to get their wisdom. They will get a disease caused by prions that is kuru, and it was quite quite the thing. But yes, if you want to, well, according to what I have read, if you want to taste human flesh, I recommend you eat pig. Pork is. It seems to be very. Why do I have to change? It seems to be very similar. I'm not talking from experience, I promise. Okay. My philosophy prof got text someone at a philosophy conference because she disagreed with someone's take on her teacher's book. I they, they are such weird people. They are such weird people. Very very like fun to be around sometimes. With my class, we used to sit outside in the rain. We would buy some cheap wine and Coke, like the drinking Coke, not the other Coke. And we will chat for hours until it was dark at night about whatever book they had read that week, and just talk and cite from other philosophers, and it was a really fun time. It was really fun, and it was really interesting to see that just all of us somehow had been conditioned to always talking quotes. We just remembered the book so well. Really fun. Really fun. I know about Brian's book. I do happen to spend a lot of time going around learning random things for no apparent reason. I do have a certain interest in medicine and other things. I just find knowledge in general to be really attractive. Knowing things is fun. Learning things, very fun. Going to school, not so fun. But learning, it's a hobby of mine. A big hobby of mine. Other Coke is pretty on team. I know. I know. But I don't want to. I don't want to make you think that I was a wild kid, but I was. But no, we did not touch that kind of thing. Why am I adding a earring? I'm sorry, I'm so used to adding earrings to my characters I almost forgot I added on instinct. I'm so sorry. uh well, if I can talk about that, about the past, which I am already, so why not? The main reason I love to learn things is because uh, I like to write. And when I write, I like to use the knowledge I have, and I like to use the experiences I have, which makes me want to experience a lot of things. So that sounds funny. I could never, but I was really interested in entering the military just because I wanted to know how it was so I could describe soldiers more properly. It takes you very funny places to say. Oh, I'm going to save. I will never. I will never. I could not, and I'm really not interested now. But if you gave me the chance to experience a boot camp free of any connections, I will just for the experience. I tend to do a lot of things just for the experience. Many wild things. So if I ever give you advice to take things slow, please do as I say and not as I do. I have almost fallen off cliffs, cliff, well, high places before because I was being a little funny, a little silly. I was doing a little hee. I'm so sorry. But you kind of have to be a little weird on the head if you're a priest, which I am. I am a priest. Imagine I'm pointing at myself right now. Just yes, I am. I am a priest. I am the priest. Hi. uh, Big part of that also. The, I like philosophy. I like learning. I love learning about religion. So you might hear me talk about religion a lot too when I get more research in. It's very scary. It's very scary. Not scary, scary to talk about it because of course it holds the sensibility of so many people. But it's such an interesting topic to learn about the beliefs of others, you know, and how they see the world cosmology, and how it affects their culture, how it affects their daily life, and the kind of mythology behind things, and the reason why that mythology is the way that it is. And when mythology is even further beyond that, like the tale of the rabbit on the moon, you can find it on Japan. You can find it on Buddhism. You can find it on ancient Aztec myths. It's, it's so cool. It's so cool that things connect that much. That culture, it's such a human thing that tales of the flood are in so many different mythologies. Things that make people human are delightful to see. Uh, I'm sorry. I get excited about topics really quickly. It's like that TikTok that gets my theories. No one has asked about my theories. that that's me. uh, uh, I'm almost done with the hair. I'm sorry it has taken me this long. I'm going to save again. Religion is very much interesting. Yeah, it is. It's very interesting. There was a documentary that um Morgan Freeman. It's called Morgan Freeman. Yes, the one that does the very cool God voice. Yes, him. He made a sort of documentary finding, well, traveling around to check cultures about their idea of God. It it was really interesting. I remember especially the one about the Santa Muerte, about funerary rites in Mexico. And one thing I do remember is really clearly is how Santa Muerte now has a sort of connection with the Virgen de Guadalupe because they wanted to protect their their tradition from colonizers. So they combined the two to keep them, which also remind me of the history of capoeira, which originally like they had to make it into a dance source, of course not exactly, but they made it a sort of art to like kind of water it down so that colonizers wouldn't take it from them because they thought it was violent, and how culture adapts according to what they go around. Just so interesting. It's so cool. It's so cool that you can see those things, that you can research things, you can learn those things. How people adapt to keep living in the way that they love. Ah! I'm sorry. I'm going to add the fluff. I'm going to paint the fluff. As you can see, I paint everything by hand because I cannot. There is no point on using the bucket. There is no point. So I use that. But yeah, bruh. I don't know how to read that. I'm so sorry. But hurrah! Similar things that happen where I live. There are many real indigenous festivities that were affected by Spanish colonization and they turn into something else. But they somehow still retain their origin. I love how excited you are. That's kind of that is one thing I can promise as a content creator, I guess. I Everything that I do, I love to do. Everything that I talk about, I'm very passionate about it. I do not know how to do things without passion, actually, which can be a little bit crippling at times. There are many things that I can't do because I can't care enough, but everything that I do tends to I tend to be a big fan of it. Which makes me also a sort of really big fan of my own stories and characters. And I really like it even to look at my own art. And I hate to admit it because it sounds so egotistical, but it's like I work really hard to be able to do that, and now I can look at it, and it's something I did. It's something my little my little uh, hands did. Isn't that cool? Isn't that great that you can create things? You can think of something and make it into something that others can see, that you can stop thinking about and it will remain there. I love creating. I love creating. It's giving shape to ideas and putting them in the world. It's wonderful. I love how positive and excited you are about drawing. Super happy to meet you and geek about everything with you. Thank you. I am indeed be very passionate about drawing, which is a bit funny. I'm going to share us a little story about the time I started studying animation. So big surprise, I guess. I was in first year. I was bottom of the class. It's not a surprise in the fact that I did never know how to animate. I never animated before. I never knew what it intended. I literally just jumped into it. I left philosophy and literally just got told, "Hey, why don't you join animation?" And almost the same day, the applications were closing. I just jumped in there, 10 in the morning, joined, did the test, and somehow got in. I did not think it through. I almost never think those kind of things through. And I did very badly on my first year. Because I struggled following instructions relative to learning how to draw realism, learning about perspectives and volumes and things. So I had to do like, how do you say it? Like an extra class when they help you like um help you get the parts that you don't understand better. But my class was at 8 in the morning, and then like the reinforcing class, let's call it like that. I forgot the name. That was at like 6, 7 in the evening, and it was like 2 hours for me to go back home. So there was no point on leaving at 12 a.m. 12 p.m. 12 a.m. 12, leaving at noon, and then having to come back. It was annoying for me, and it was paying double the bus. So of course I stayed there the whole day. Instead I sneaked into the second class. So I drew for over 8 hours straight every Wednesday, plus the animation project, just because I was frustrated. And that really really wasn't healthy, and I got really bad wrist pains. But the second semester, my last grade was like let me the maximum it's 7. My last grade was a 6.5. Coming from like a 2 or a 3, that's a lot of work. I did a lot of work, and I was mentally exhausted. It was so tiring. And whenever I think about my art and start like maybe I start to sulk a little, I like to remind myself that if I did that for a whole semester, I must really love drawing. And then I'm like, I feel a little better. But I really, really, really suck about animating and drawing when I first started. Funny times, really funny. And also, you had to carry like a big suitcase with your papers. So, and I will of course leave at like peak time, at but morning at night, so I couldn't get a seat, and my wrist barely could hold me, and I had to carry the suitcase with a big like wooden tablet on it where you could put your papers. It was a time. It was a time. So art is a struggle, and I wouldn't recommend to anyone who wants to do art to go through something like that. I wouldn't, because if you don't have the passion back then, by then it's probably going to kill it. I wouldn't go through that for something I don't care enough about. So yeah, and here we are. That's the color of your pretty, pretty eyes. I'm going to save drink some water. I'm not used to talk this much. I can be a chatterbox at times, but I'm really not used to talk this much. So my throat is struggling a little. But I'm having a lot of fun. Don't worry, don't worry. I'm having a lot of fun. Yep, it sounds like a pain. It was. By the way, Hmm. I, I shall wait for what you have to say. I was a bit out. Did you say that you wanted to see a military camp? Yeah. Yeah. I have seen videos of it, but of course it's never the same. It's never the same to experience it yourself. Because the way I like to write, it's very show and not tell, so I need a lot of personal experience to properly say what I want, of sorts. So I prefer to see things firsthand. And I also used to like work in a little store, and sometimes we would pick a card and go to a sort of military school to sell because they were always hungry and hungry. So it will sell really good. It will sell really well. If you have food and you don't know who to sell it to soldiers. Well, in training, they tend to be very hungry. At least here, I've seen that in other places it's not that bad, but here the kids are almost starving. Being there is a very bizarre experience. Like it's a completely different universe. I I've heard from someone who was in military training that he, at least for him, it was like very comfortable because he liked to follow orders. He liked order, and then when he came out there and went back to regular society, he saw everyone, and it was just disorder and chaos, and it kind of made him like they were conditioned. At least here, they were conditioned to almost hate that sort of freedom that society has, that indiscipline. Was a very interesting take, I think. Military food, I think about beans much. Bean cup. I like to watch this dude that's Steve Emirates that tends to check military rations. At least, of course, it's very different than the food you have in training, but it sometimes still looks so good. I like the idea of having everything in a little bag. Really, really. But it's because I like camping. It's for a very different reason. They threw Benz at him because that's the cross arms meme. Yeah, I've seen it. I I should brand myself in that. They threw beams at me. You ran not to think for yourself. Yeah, they have a knack for um discipline to say people. There are people who, of course, it helps them because it, I don't know, having someone take control over what you have to do when, for example, you're someone who always has been in a bad situation where you are kind of gaslit into not knowing what you can do because one day you do it and it's bad, and another day you do it and it's good, or that you should have done it. People who are unsure of what they can do and didn't have the kind of the chance, the privilege to learn to be their own person, do can find some ease in a place that's so direct. You're even more based on it. I'm going to add that to my kind of what do you say? Achievements. I'm based. Yeah, freedom is a pretty heavy burden. Uh, it, I get that feeling, especially when I have to interact with people. I compare it to a visual novel that normally you can guess what is right and what is wrong. You can normally, sometimes it's a bit of a surprise, but you have a very limited amount of answers that it's easy to think about. But in real life, you could say anything, you could do anything to another person. There is nothing that holds you back, really. It's a whole code of manners that you have to learn yourself. No one really teaches you about that. And like literally you could go to any person and keep them, like drop kick them, and who's gonna really stop you from doing that? You just have to learn yourself to decide openly to not do that, which I know it's a little bit complicated because morals aren't real. The thing in nature there is no good and there is no bad. If a cat it's a bird, that's just that's that's just murder, but it's nothing good, nothing bad. The cat is feeding itself, and bird was fighting for its life and it lost. So you have to learn all those things to interact in a way that doesn't make you an outcast. And it's a sort of very controlled freedom that you have to take a choice, and or you can choose to become an outcast, and it's going to affect you differently. Having so many options, you like I think there is a thing they call it's decision fatigue. Having too many options, it's exhausting. You don't know what's better. You feel like you will regret it later, and having that freedom, it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone, and that's okay. That's okay. I love the freedom. I love the freedom. I do think that a big, like important part of humans is that they can choose. They can choose how to live. Not everyone can choose, but there is always the choice of doing something. But that choice of doing something for someone who struggles with that can be the complete opposite. It's not freedom. It's trapping them in that anxiety of needing to know what's the better option or what is the most um normal, quote unquote, or what is the most the convenient one, the easiest one, the more affordable one. It's, it's not it's not for everyone, and that's completely okay. That's why some people do like the idea of having their partners like take a sort of ownership over them. It's so much easier when you're an adult and you have to manage so many things. To have someone help you through that, someone who you might feel sometimes that it's more competent or has things more together, which is not true most of the time, but it helps ease that burden. You don't have to think what to cook, you don't have to think where to go, and you just do a stat. It's a big ease of sorts. That's why, uh, that's why, for example, I do prefer studying like in college and stuff instead of like self research, because they just give you a schedule and like the topics and the professors and everything, and it makes it a lot easier for me to just worry about learning instead of everything else. Things like that, like paying for a tour. You don't have to worry about no thinking of where you want to go, where you want to eat. You don't have to worry about where you're going to sleep. No, you just go and worry about experiencing things, and that's why some people like to give away their freedom, and that's okay. That's a completely valid way of living. Morality is still a very relative thing. Like my sense of right and wrong changed drastically over the years. Yeah, yeah, it happens. It's a really particular thing. More, I think. Well, because of my sort of vow to my religion, I have to settle on the fact that morality is not real. It's, there is no right and wrong. There is no good. There is no bad. There are just things that happen and things that don't. Because there is always someone that loses something in every transaction, to say. But wanting to do good and wanting to do bad are still very basic things that almost every human feels. So, if at least in my own theory of sorts, I do think that morality is part of our own natural process of evolution. So it is natural, but also it's not real, kind of. I mean, it probably wouldn't go so well if they find themselves being used by someone more malicious. Like when I get a follower in a video game and make them walk through tabs. Yeah, which is actually really big problem. There is a limit to not being like not wanting to take a choice and being dependent and then being abused. You can be dependent on someone who is very kind, or you can be dependent because someone that you trusted took over that trust and started making you feel like you have to depend on them. It's a very tricky situation, and for everyone there are different boundaries which are important to set. Why That's why communication is the most important thing in every relationship. You want someone who will listen to you when you complain of sorts, when you told them what's wrong, and you want to also be that person that listens to your partner when they tell you what's wrong, and you can talk about that in a natural, calm way. Don't think of it as a personal attack, and just you haven't adjust yourself because you are two different people with two completely different lives that are learning to live by each other's side. It's completely normal. There is the thing about animal morality where the deadlier animal the animal, the less they hurt their kin. It can be, yeah, yeah. I can see that. I do fear and put a little border on animals like polar bears, dolphins, and pandas. Dolphins specifically, they scare me a lot. They are particularly evil and probably smart enough to know that they are evil of sorts. Not evil, but they clearly causing harm and probably enjoy that they are causing harm. But there are so many deadly animals to say that care so much about each other. Meanwhile, small creatures like those crabs that literally fed on their own children. That is wild. It's wild. So I guess morality is attributed to when an animal has more time of leisure because they are higher up in the predatory line, they have more time to integrate other things. Maybe that's not a proper theory. I have not researched it that much. Venomous snakes don't bite each other. Yeah, coconut crabs are crazy. We talk about crabs, finding hilarious that cancer, the thing about how most crabs, like crabs, are for completely different species, and most animals probably will turn into crabs. Hilarious, love that. Absolutely wonderful. I want to become a crab one day. Just like how plants, like trees, are just a natural evolutionary line of any plant. So any plant is probably going to become a tree at some point. Or how you can't classify fish. You can't, because fishes are like the original evolution line for almost every animal. It's wonderful. Wonderful how we are all related to each other, like how rat DNA it's so close to a human, or how pig like skin and flesh is so similar to a human's. It's the again again the clarity that I have not eaten humans. I'm just it's second hand information. Now about that it was that you were taught that species preserving mechanism, that like snake will kill each other, rats can bite each other all day, but we are very aware that rats are very empathetic, which is lovely to see. It's very cute. So it makes me wonder so much about other animals, like how crows, ravens, the little ravens, will remember your face and tell others to avoid you because you're a prick, or how they literally hold murder investigations just for survival. So it might be indeed an evolutionary thing. But I wonder why rats show empathy. What's their benefit to it? Is there one day I'm going to make like a counter for every time I have to like make an declaration that I have not committed a crime. Uh, this is how the streams are going to go, I guess. I have a lot more stories that need that counter, so yes. Group survival, probably. Well, yes, you're right. Rats do survive a lot better when they are in groups instead of like ensuring food for only one of them, since they are small animals, just like ants. When you leave an ant alone and you give it food, it will wait and hold it for their colony. And it's very sad to see actually how lost they feel, which makes sense that humans, which are social creatures and definitely need each other to survive. No matter how much sometimes we wish we didn't, we do need each other to survive. It makes sense that we also have empathy as a thing. Empathy and these social rules that we created from at least an evolutionary standard. Ants are absolutely fascinating. Have you seen ants fighting with termites? It's it's wild. I mean, my first exposure from it was the Ants movie, that weird 3D movie. But watching like the real fights, it it's wild and uh, kind of terrifying in a way. You feel for these ants, but oh my goodness, they they are such strong soldiers to say. When I see people like willing to die for their cause, it reminds me a little bit of that drive that ants have. I do find it somehow somewhat inspiring, even though my own personal kind of um moral, I guess, not really a moral, but I'm not a big fan of the idea of dying for something because, well, the only way others will know that you fought for that, that you wanted that thing to be known, is surviving to tell the tale. I'm also a big fan of experiencing things, so I don't want to die that quickly because I will totally die for something like that. But it's very inspiring that someone can appreciate something that much. I know that ants do it by instinct most likely because they have to ensure the survival of others, but of course, it's still it's survival of others, the survival of their group, the community that they are protecting. That's still what leads others to fight for that. People who fought in revolution wars, that's the drive, but it hurts because so many have very sad deaths and no appreciation at all for altar sacrifice. Yeah, it sounds very cool on paper, but it can kind of sucks IRL. You don't really hope to be that person, but it's inspiring to see anyways. Uh there are many stories I could tell about that, but specifically one that really pisses me off. It's really painful for me because, of course, these people just wanted to live, just wanted to be paid, just wanted to have a regular life and some just working rights, just worker rights, just not being treated like slaves, which of course is awful. Do any of you, except manager San, because I did tell her about this a little bit not long ago. Do any of you know about the origin of saltpeter? Do you know where it comes from? I will wait because I know this has a delay, so of course it's going to take a little. I'm going to hum something to use the time in the meanwhile. Pam 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 pam. I should just tell you. I want to see if anyone does know about where saltpeter comes from. No clue. Well, all right, that's enough of an answer. I'm good with that. um, so saltpeter comes from mines. It comes from mines that you can find in the southern cone of South America, which includes well, actually the southern cone it's Chile, Argentina, and Uruguay. For some reason, I'm pronouncing them with an accent. Chile, Argentina, and Uruguay. Yes, but there is Bolivia, Peru, and Chile. Yes. Uh, in the desert that is there, the Atacama Desert, that's where you will find saltpeter mines, and there are many stories about that. Oh wait, ever see Treats for Beasts? I know about that, but I haven't seen it. But I remember that name. I remember that. Hmm. I wanna look it up. I wanna look it up now. I'm going to save that. No, I will wait. I will wait. I will look it up later. I don't want to be too scatterbrained. I'm sorry. But if you want to tell me about it, please do. So it reminds me of that kind of ASMR channel where they give um stop stop motion little animals food and give them a little interview. It's really cute. But yes, saltpeter mines. Yeah. So there was a time, I think was around First World War or so, before Germany invented synthetic saltpeter, of course, because that's way cheaper. And the mines Chile has on its north have little towns full of workers. And the thing is, that the the patrones, how do you say it? Like the boss will charge them for the place they live in. Like they have to pay the rent, and they have to buy their own food, and all they get paid basically just enough for that, because they get paid in a special coin that can only be used there inside the the little city, the little town, and it's actually forbidden to buy outside, even though it's cheaper. So they can barely manage to pay their rent and their food, and for their families, of course, with what they get paid on the monthly. So their debt adds up, and they basically become slaves, having to pay everything they earn to their bosses. And of course, at some point they were tired because they had families, and their children, since they were 8 years old, they had to go to the mine because you had to pay. You had to pay to eat. And it was literally on a desert inside a mine, and the conditions also weren't the best. It was, of course, back then really awful. So one day they decide to protest, to riot. But it's not even like a proper riot. They are peaceful, tired people with, like, they live nowhere. They don't even have like school. They barely can read. They want to go to the city to find someone who will help them, to talk to the important people so that they will get some help, because they are tired to live in those awful conditions. So they march. They pick up the pace and they march around the towns, adding more people to their their group. They go from the center of the desert. I forgot the first mine, the first mine that started it, and they travel to Iquique, which is a town in the north of Chile. And basically, when they get there, it's almost the first time many of them see the sea ever. And they were full of hope at the start. They were full of hope that the people will listen if they talk, if they explain their case. because of course how will their country let people live in such pain in such awful conditions, right? So they get there, and the guilds of people there, of course, are okay with that. They support them. The bakers and the fishermen, they all think that's true. The workers live in an awful condition. But then the military come and they tell them to wait. So they wait. Finally, they had someone important to talk with them. So they decide to wait. They get them all living inside the school, the Santa Maria de Quique. Because they don't want them like casting things on the street. What if they attack people? Because these important people, quote unquote, think of the poor workers as savages. They don't want people like regular people, civilized people, to see these beggars. And so they wait, and at some point the people of the guilds stop supporting them for some reason, but they are still hopeful. And then someone comes. I forgot his name, but comes a commander with his soldiers, and he tells them that you either give it up or die, because there is no way that you are going to get what you ask for. Now these people were hoping, of course, so they decide to tell them that no, it's okay, they can wait longer if they need to, but they want help, they want proper answers, they want to work less, they want the children to not have to work so young, they want to be able to eat, to not have to pass their lives paying a debt that they didn't earn. So what does the military do? The military rounds them up, the children, the wives, the workers, the babies, everyone. They round them up in the school and they start shooting these people who could not defend themselves, who were only asking for rights. And it was only 4 days before Christmas. It, I'm sorry, I'm getting I'm getting emotional. It's a story that I grew up with because the north is full of pain, and that zone of the desert is full of so many painful history stories, and we even have a monument for them. Now that's known as the massacre of the Santa Maria de Quique. It was over 2000 over 2000 people got murdered that day. Literally did not even give them the chance to flee to the ones who wanted to maybe discuss it amongst themselves. Just got rid of the angry, annoying, poor people. It was a very dark time. It was a very dark time, but it was that fight which I know the people who were there did not want to die. The people who were there only wanted some help, but they died for it. And know, even as awful as things are right now, people do have better lives. It's it's a really heavy sacrifice, but history and progress is built on tragedies, sadly. Those are the parts of humanity that make it such. I don't want to say interesting because it's awful, but those twists and turns make it what it is. It kinda sounds like what happened on Bloody Sunday in Moscow. Yes, it's it's heavy that it happens everywhere. That minorities to say that the ones below others to say a full thing to say. I know, but that's how the ones who have the choice see the ones who ask for the choice. They see them below them, and that is a type of violence that has never left humanity. Very painful to see, but it does move things around. I I think it'd be pretty cool if I could yell and instantly summon a thunderstorm and have a rain. It will be out of topic, but I do have a character that can do that. A D&D character, I mean. I'm sorry. Suddenly the topic got really heavy. But it came after the idea of people dying for the cause. After all, people do die for causes all the time without even intending to. Uh, I do wish that talking was easier, but it isn't. It isn't the world. The world is unfair, cold, and wild, and full of possibilities. But I think even then, I do find it wonderful. Still amazing, and the fact that the fact that we can even feel for those people, the fact that we can listen to stories from so long ago and feel that anger and that sadness, I think that's also amazing. A wonderful thing to be a human. I'm comfortable with it. It's a little bit hard to not tackle difficult topics when you when you're a priest. But I think we should light up the mood a little. The world is very beautiful in its ugliness. It is. I don't want to say that it's the dark times that let us see the sun, because it's not true. You can enjoy the sun even if you have never been caught in the rain. But there is a sort of beautiful irony to it. It's a beautiful thing to be able to experience both good and bad things. The whole scope of human emotion is so wide that you can never know if the sadness you feel is the same sadness that everyone is referring to, just like colors. You don't know if the blue I see is the same blue that you see. That uniqueness, that individuality that everyone has makes everyone so unique. I love the world. I love the world and the people in it. And I love you all too. So it's nice that we did get to exist in the same time and space of sorts, or at least in a time in which we can share. We can share it even if we are far away. Yes, it is a little bit violet. I want to add sort of violet hue. I like that concept that we see everything differently from each other. Yes, it's really, really like it can be really upsetting or like cause a sort of existential crisis. But isn't it fun? It's really fun that somehow we found words that help us communicate things that we don't even know if are the same, but somehow mean the same to everyone. That's the power of language. So cool. So cool. How long do you plan to stream today? I think I will be all right. It's 3:49 right now. I'll probably stream till 5. I'm trying to think how long that is. Like an hour and 20 minutes more. Yes, I did not advance much, but I'm having a lot of fun talking anyways. I'm sorry. Well, I almost got that done, but that's good. The shade of blue I see is better than everyone else's. Well, if you think so, that's great for you, honestly. That you are so confident in your shade of blue, go for it. Great. Enjoy your blue as much as you can. Those are the little things that make life worth living. I wonder what kind of color will I say. I think my shade of lilac is probably a little better than the usual just because I like it. I love lilac. So, cool fact. Um, I have synesthesia. So the colors I see, or more like the emotions I see, tend to relate to color. So, so I see emotions, and I tend to see colors related to them sometimes. So lilac tends to be a really pleasant combination of both passion and that kind of sadness that makes it very melancholic. Very nice. It's very nice color. Of course, um, it can mean different things according to who, when, and everything. But still my favorite color, and that's also one of the reasons I mostly color in pastel, because every other color feels really intense. Feels really intense, like bright and strong. Not the biggest fan. I love people who can use bright colors, but I steer away from them. I prefer something that's more calming to my whole experience. Glad to randomly follow me on Twitter. You seem like a pretty cool YouTuber to watch. Thank you. Thank you. I hope I am very, very cool and hip and radical. I can't believe I say that. I'm too old to say that. Uh, but I'm also glad I ended up like joining the community and finding all of you. Was a while, right? It was great, and now we are here. Shinon este college kid. Thank you, Ted. I try my best to be cool. I'm a cool priest. No, reminds me of the priest from Fleabag. uh, and the priest, his name as a character is just the hot priest, because we don't know the names of either him or Fleabag, which is the main character. It's a really good series. It's a really good series. It will be. It's a great watch. I been watched both seasons in like a day or something, which is wild because I don't watch many live action series. Yeah. How do you do, fellow kids? That's me. That's me every time I open Twitter. when when people started using oomph for mutual, or when people started using ratio and things, I was very lost. I was there are so many things I still don't get. Even it's not even that new, but Godfefe, I didn't know what the deal was until manager explained to me. Uh, I love memes, but they move a little too quick for me. A little darker. There it is. Good, 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 good. And now, and that is at that. I'm going to save. I'm going to save. Now comes the most important part, of course. I forgot to thicken the lines. So I'll have to paint over that later. I wonder what you're listening to while watching this. Since we have no background music, I want to know what you're listening to. I'm currently listening to absolutely nothing because when I restarted the laptop, I didn't open my browser. I didn't want to have the same thing happen as before. So I'm listening to absolutely nothing but myself talk and the fan. That's what meant. That made no sense, right? I have no idea where it came from, but there it is. Kids are very particular. Some random ASMR. Oh, ASMR! I love ASMR. Nice. My choices of ASMR can be questionable because I don't like mod songs in real life, but for some reason in ASMR they do call me. But also role plays. There is one channel that's ASMR. Well, three channels: ASMR Sham, ASMR Popomo or Pomo, and ASMR Latte. And sometimes they do role plays and they are adorable and they are so high production and I love them. I love them so much. Oh my gosh. Especially Latte ASMR has one roleplay when you are a yeti and you're just waking up from hibernation and you are getting ready for like a dance or something. So she cuts your hair and takes care of like lice that you have because it's like ice lice, cold ice, snow lice, yes. And I don't, and dyes your hair, and you're literally a yeti. You're literally a yeti. So cute, so cute. People can create such adorable things just for others. Love it. Mine are halasus. Don't tell anyone. That's okay. That's okay. Whatever helps. Say ASMR. It's for the experience. It's not to be judged. Everyone has particular things about themselves, so it's okay. We are in shaming here. This is a no shame zone. Except myself, I do find a lot of shame in who I am. Just kidding. It's kidding. It's kidding. It's okay. I need to paint there and there. I'm concentrating. And here again. So we are, yes. It brings me a lot of comfort when I'm like in social situations to remind myself that everyone is like struggling with themselves. Or not everyone, but a lot of people find themselves cringe. So we are all just struggling and doing our best. Like even adult people who feel like they have everything together. I say adult people like I'm not, but like older people who have their life like are sorted out of sorts. Even they struggle with what they're doing or feel like they have no idea what's going on. I find that quite reassuring. Reassuring? Reassuring? That there is no way to know what you're doing. You just have to vibe it out. Alright, I'm going to add some stars on this here because of course we know that is very starry. Now I'm going to do it the normal way. I'm not good at like doing stars the fast way, so I prefer to do them one limb at a time. Considering becoming a villain. Damn, the moment you go and come to check if someone will make the joke you were going to make. I love how we are also concerned with how others think about us, when in reality nobody really cares that much. Yeah, nobody really cares. They are more worried about how they are seen than to notice that you are there at all. Which is why the best way to hide is in plain sight. For legal reasons, I do not mean I ruined that. Oh my goodness. It's yeah. That's another one to the I have not committed a crime counter. I gotta show you something later, cutie. You're gonna love it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Sus. I'm not sus, I promise. I promise. I haven't done. I'm not sus. I can't even kill anyone in Among Us. Among Us. I keep calling it Among Us because everyone calls it Among Us and I can't get it. Stop. Something malicious is brewing. Look, I'm just saying, if it will not hurt anyone to break a law, I don't really worry about it. That's all I will say. Yes. Wonderful. What a twist. That is not the best star. That is not the best star. Oh, running away from police ain't that hard, as you know. I mean, I guess that's true. I guess that's true for a lot of people. Not for me though. I'm not good at running. I'm not. I'm a very slow person. In fact, I was the slowest in my class. Like, if I want to say an achievement, I was the slowest one in my class. I'm really fast at work, but I'm really slow. My body's really slow. I send you on Twitter. It still works. It still doesn't work though. So I will see it later. No, wait. I'm going to see it right now so you can see my live reaction. That's better. I'm giving you my live reaction. I was curry donuts and you have many friends. Oh, of course. If you have someone who will botch for you, then you are on the other side. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! I'm looking at it. That it's so cute. It's so cute. I love the hair, especially the hair and the uniform. It's cute, and the fluff on the ears. Oh, looks so gentle too. So we have a dead and put it here. Oh my god! I swear, rhombus. It's a very important symbol for me. For some reason, I can't draw them properly. I'm not good. Bam, bam, bam. There. Yes. We finished one. We only have 1 hour left, but we finished one. Yay! I take so long when I'm talking. I'm sorry. But that's okay. I have Raccoon here. And I have Dion here. And so it's probably going to be a few streams before we finish everyone. That's good. Going to corroborate with the there. Yes. Yes. Wonderful. So Dion is probably going to take me a lot, but that sounds really fun, so I'm going to do it. I hope there it is. I'm going to use the cat ears because they are very cute. Yes, saved. It's saved. Thank you. I haven't done Rako yet, but of course I will when it's done. Do you plan to stream art only or other things? Really funny story. Well, not story, but really fun fact. I did not want to become an art streamer. Me as Shinon, I did not want to become an art streamer, but I didn't know what else to do to start because it's the thing I have streamed the most. I do plan to stream other things, of course, but I wanted to start with art because not only is the thing I do know about, but because it's the one that puts less of a burden in my laptop and setting up my computer for streaming, it was going to be a lot more stressful and I was going to die. Hard and save. That guy looks us right. Look at those sussy eyes. Look, wait. Oh my gosh. Sus. No. Why does it actually look rude? No. not over the Among Us meme at all. I will never be over it. It's just so funny. So funny. I can't say funny in a normal way. I have to say funny. I can't say funny. I need to say funny. Because I watched too much of Wilbur's such You Laugh You Lose, and he always says funny. I need to say it like that. It's stuck to me. This is I need to delete parts of this. I need to delete here. And I'm going to use the other side for that, for guidance. So, yeah. And I'm going to delete this just because. Just because. Look, there he is speaking out. There is a cutie. Are we really staying with the hard and say, by the way? I don't know, it's very funny. It's very funny. Dun, 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 dun. That looks a little gross. I'm sorry. I just prefer to not have things be so overwhelming of sorts. I do get a little claustrophobic when things are a little too big on my screen. Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Finally, I get a transparent PNG. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. I could try to delete everything else with you know, of sorts, right? I don't know why I didn't think of this before. I guess it's very messy, but it helps. There we go. Transparent Dion. Is it Dion or Dion? It can vary. So I assume it's Dion, but I never ask. Or it can be Dion too. Can be Dion. It can be Dion. It can be Dion. Hmm. It was very fast. No, no worries. No. Oh wait, I'm just noticing that. Gotta do that. Dion. Dion. Like Celine Dion, kind of. I guess. I hope. Or I'm going to be butchering it very bad. I don't like butchering names. I'm sorry. Oh, so that's why. Oh, that makes sense now. I don't use much like proper common sense when I design characters. So, oh wait, give me a second. Give me a second. All right, all right. You're back. Oh no. There is. Sorry. My cat. My cat. It's He's a baby. My cat is an absolute baby. So sometimes he is very loud when he wants attention. And it so happens that his meows don't sound very cat like, they sound more like a human trying to meow. So I prefer to, at least for now, to spare you that. And he left anyway, so he is an absolute baby. Like, literally cannot be more than 3 days without me. Last time he did, he started running away, causing a ruckus, looking for me everywhere, not eating. Was very, very dangerous. And you wonder, why were you without your baby for 3 days? I travel a lot. I travel a lot. I'm a wandering prince. I travel a lot. And originally he wasn't like that, um not affectionate, but he wasn't that anxious. So I didn't think back then. But now I know, so I I never live anywhere more than 2 days, one if I can help it. My brother's dog is like that. Yeah, I think it's separation anxiety. Dogs tend to have it a lot more than cats, but I just got extra lucky, I guess. I adore him though. You probably have seen pics of him actually if you do follow Twitter. One day he started howling, and he's a Yorkshire. Oh, Yorkshire! Cute, very cute, very cute. Oh, poor baby. It has happened uh, to my guardians before. They had a mixed breed dog. Most of the dogs that you have here are mixed random breeds. We call them kiltros. And one time when I was very small, we left on a trip for we even then we travel a lot, and the dog stopped eating. There was someone who was sent to feed him, but this dog in particular, it was very wild, very not antisocial, but didn't trust other people, and was dangerous of sorts. But he got depressed because he didn't see my guardians come out to feed him from inside the house. So when when we came back, he was really thin and weak. He got better. He lived a lot longer, but it's that kind of bond with animals. It makes me tear up that my cat trusts me that much and loves me that much, even though I know it's unhealthy for him. I do appreciate it. He always takes good care of me when I'm sad. He always stays by my side and is, always goes with me to everywhere around the house. Very cute. Let's go to the toy store. Let's go to the toy store, Dan. Let's go. uh, that reminds me. Fun fact: I do buy toys from him sometimes. I have My Little Pony collection. Well, used to. I don't really collect anything anymore, but they are still there. Uh, it's from them. It's just I have many generations of ponies actually. I like My Little Pony a lot, but I haven't finished watching the series that the like G4 I think. I haven't finished watching it. I think I left at like the second season, and I know it's wild. No, it's wild. I know a lot of fans, and like the whole like that the next generation it's in the future and everything. So the ponies are dead and magic doesn't exist or something. It's wild. It reminds me of the Toys Adventure Time had, which I did not watch much of either. I'm not good at watching non-anime series. I'm sorry. One series I did watch fully was Wonder Over Yonder, but I don't love it. I love Wonder. He's so cute. Wait, I'm saving. But another thing I do collect, which is less weird, not weird. Collecting ponies is not weird, but it's less unsurprising. I collect hats. I have a lot of hats. Hats from uh some anime stuff. Hats from I have a hat from cat on the Hat. The one that you get at Universal. A friend went and got it for me, and it's wonderful. Have a lot of like wool, alpaca wool hats, or just cute kind of like those train conductor hats. I have a proper top hat, like an actual top hat made by a hat maker. I don't know the name in English. And a lot of party hats too, which is really funny because I don't wear hats anymore. But I love them. I love them. Oh, what's your favorite anime? Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Oh my. Father Marco, do you know the spot you're putting me right now? I can't answer that. Oh my. Oh. I could talk for so many hours about this topic because I do not know. I do not know. I have so many favorite anime for so many different reasons. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. um, I will say though, my current, quote unquote favorite anime, I think will be Tsurune, Tsunagari no Icha, the one about Kyudo. I think right now that will be it, at least for this season. I did also enjoy it, and I do enjoy a lot. What is it called? Isekai Tondemo Skiro de Isekai Horomeshi, the one with Sky Guy that has the ability to buy stuff from an online store, so he can cook cool meals in a fantasy world. So he gets a really hungry um, Fenrir as a familiar because he wants to eat more food. But that one I do enjoy it because I read the manga, so it's not the same as I like the anime. I just like the manga and I like to see it animated. No, for a better for a better I will need to open my browser and look what because I tend to forget. Now, top 5 titles, it's also really hard, so instead I'm going to give you titles that I recommend, which is a little easier. And also one title that I don't recommend that I could talk for hours about. So One anime that I love, and it's not really well known. The manga is just as lovely. I recommend reading the manga too, because the world building is amazing. It's Hakume and Mikochi, a very lovely anime about two like little girls. They are like small fairies that live in the woods. They they live with like big like animals that are regular size. They are just very tiny. Have a small cabin, just live a comfy life and make friends and stuff. And it's extremely soft, really cool. The world building is great. I love the characters. I love the music, and I just please watch it. Please watch it. It's great. I know it sounds like very soft, but it is wonderful. It's great. Uh, Another one I will say is Mushishi, but everyone knows Mushishi. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people know Mushishi. They know it's great. You don't really get anything by saying it. Same goes to Natsume Yujincho. Also really great. I've been watched the 6 seasons. Wonderful, amazing. I cried a lot of times, but I don't really get anything by saying I recommend it because we know it's great. So instead, I'm going to recommend Mononoke, which might be a little less known. It's also great. It's also in the same vibe of mysterious yokai kind of thing. But the art is gorgeous. It's made in a sort of like a sort of origami paper texture. The animation is wonderful. I recommend you watch Ayakashi and then you watch Mononoke. Finger in mouth. mm, what else? What else? What else? Oh my goodness. Most of the anime I recommend are soft. I also love Yuru Camp, but a lot of people here also probably know about Yuru Camp. Just a cute show about cute girls camping. It's great, it's wonderful. I love it. I love camping. Anime is great. The characters are great. Very lovely. I recommend watching it with a warm meal though. It does get you very hungry. Hungry, 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 yes. Um that's three. What else? What else? Um let me think. Let me think. Um I am thinking. Oh, I know. I know. One that I love a lot too, and it's also about yokais, I'm sorry. It's cool headed Hosuki or Hosuki no Reitetsu. It's about a demon, Hosuki, who's basically a sort of secretary for the great Enma, which is like the god of hell in Shinto tradition, if I'm not wrong. I tend to mix up a little um, Japanese Buddhism with Shinto sometimes, which is awful. I'm sorry. It's a comedy anime. It has like 2 seasons, I think, 2 or 3 seasons, about the daily lives of these workers in hell. They have to take care of like the souls, and he has to go around the hell and heaven solving trouble because he's the secretary, and he's also sort of a sadist and absurdly strong. So it has a lot of like that violent comedy, but it's also really good. And how they implement mythology, it's lovely. I love it. It's kind of like the openings just tell you this kind of they show it hell like a touristic like a tourist spot, sort of. They show you the good places to go and stuff and why they are great, and it's all hellish, of course. It's wonderful. I love it. It's so great. I even have merch. I even have merch. There are these weird kingyo goldfish. These goldfish that look kind of uh you know, they look a little weird. I have a plushie because I love the series so much, and it's hard to find merch. It's very hard, specifically here, because not many people know about it. All right, so that's four, I think. So I'm going to recommend one because I want you to read the manga. The anime is great, but I want you to read the manga, which is one of my favorite mangas, and that is Mairemashita Iruma-kun, or Welcome to Demon School, I think. Iruma. It looks like a children's anime, and it probably might feel like a children's anime at first. It's wonderful. It's amazing. Every chapter has me just at the edge of my seat. Not because it's like a lot of cliffhangers, it's just very exciting. The characters are handled well, the world building is amazing, it's imbued in everything. Everything has a touch of that hellish kind of Alice in Wonderland Halloween aesthetic. Amazing. It's great. The characters are so full of life, and everyone has their spotlight. Even the villains have the spotlight, and it's not like a typical shonen going by arcs. It goes by arcs, but they affect the future and they remain present. You are aware of what happened, and it shows, and it's wonderful. I love it so much. Great. Great. If you're looking for manga to read, there are two that I also recommend a lot. One is Witch Hat Atelier, or Atelier of Witch Hat. It's great. That is gorgeous. The story is gorgeous. The world building is gorgeous. The magic is gorgeous. Quifrey is gorgeous. I mean, what? It's so wonderful. It's like a fairy tale. The art is like a fairy tale. The story is like a fairy tale. It's beautiful. So beautiful. And also, the author loves to check on the original characters that the people make of the series. So cute. I'm sorry for sharing, but it's so cute. Oh my god. And another one that I recommend, it's an isekai and it's Finnish. I'm sorry, I really like isekais. I am so sorry. I really like isekai. But is isekai Omotenashi Gohan. I don't know the English first name of it, but it's an isekai in which a girl and her sister are transported to another world, a fantasy world. The story is about the sister of the girl that gets selected to be a saint. She has no reason to be there, and their house gets summoned. The whole house got summoned, so she has nothing to do. So they offer her protection, and so she starts learning how to cook the dishes they love because her sister needs the emotional support of having something close to home while she's fighting these dark forces. And her cooking starts to get to other people. She talks with powerful beings because they like to hang out with her. Overall, it's just soft, has a little bit of romance, and it's a wonderful series about the power of that the support of your close ones has on you, and how she learns to love the place they're in, the situations they're in. As long as she's with her sister and the people she loves, she will handle it. You will be okay. It's lovely, and it's quite short. I don't know if it has a novel. I don't know, but the manga is really pretty. Don't be sorry. I watched Overlord like 5 times. That's completely valid. Overlord, it's really good. Now, another anime that I want to recommend you. Uh, this might be catered more like people like me who love to create stories and spend in time in that circle of like Bilibili and Nico Nico Doga and Pixiv that like to read light novels and manga and stuff. It might hit you harder, but it doesn't mean that it won't. It's amazing. And that is Recreators. It's an original anime. And it's kind of a reverse isekai now that I think about it. These characters from fiction get summoned for some in the real world, and they meet their creators, and they have to fight off a threat, and it's wonderful. It's amazing. It's great. The way they clash the ideas of every separate genre and the styles of every character are different and their stories are different, and the way the creators also clash with each other. Sometimes the way they learn from their creations, it's very special to me. It's very special to me. I love it so. There is like, I don't want to spoil anything, but there is a thing that one of the characters tries coffee for the first time because in her world, in her story, coffee wasn't written, so she doesn't know of it, and everything that she lives in this world, it's a lot more intense than back at her world because things that were written weren't that detail. Then like they lack information of source. Like when you look at the moon and the sky, when you look at the sea, the amount of information that your eyes get compared to what a character that you will describe the sea as beautiful, immense, as fresh, as blue. It will never be the same as seeing it with your own eyes. And the characters get to experience that, and the ones that created them hear from them. It's very special to me, that interaction of then the author of the girl decides to add coffee to the story so she can have it again. As someone who writes, I absolutely adore adding details that make the world bigger, to connect things and to let characters experience those small things, because I love them very much. I love them and I want them to experience things. I want, if truly parallel universes exist and they truly exist somewhere, to be able to have those experiences, to love things and to be able to share them with others and to enjoy them. Very important to me. It's very sentimental, but the anime really changes the way you see your own creations. It's hard to not love them after that. You're heavy declare Alabates. Thank you. Recreators, it's really good and I recommend you watch it, especially if you create. Because after all, when you create something, comes directly from you, from your experiences, your your taste, from the things you like, from the things you dislike, from the feelings you have, from the hopes you have for them. They are a part of you. They are a part of you, and so that is a you that's out there, feeling, experiencing things. It's a part of your heart and a part of your time and your mind. Something that you said, I want to give life to it. It's very important. So it's. I'm sorry. I said we were going to get on a lighter topic, but I'm getting emotional again. It's definitely my top 5 best anime. Yes, same. I love it so much. But I guess to make it a lot less emotional, well, I'm going to get emotional anyways for a completely different reason. Here is an anime that I recommend you don't watch. And anyone who has watched this anime knows either to love it or to hate it or both at the same time. And that is Val Brave the Liberator or Kakumeki Val Brave. Or Val Brave, I think Val Brave it is. Val Brave, yeah. And you might think, what makes this anime such a controversial topic? Not much if I told you only the plot. It's basically high schoolers decide to make their own country interspatial sort of city in which they go to school, right? They take over that. And why do they do that? Because they have a giant mecha that turns people into vampires, and they are fighting space Nazis. Yeah, that sounds like any mecha anime, right? I, the protagonist and most of the supporting cast is, but especially the protagonist. Just, this I don't have words to describe it. I don't have words. It's not really that bad. It's really not that bad. But it's a joke. It's a joke that it's hard to ignore because they take it too seriously. They try to make tension with it, but the plot it's a little all over the place. But the songs are wonderful, and there are some characters that are also wonderful. But it came around the same time. It came out around the same time that other series like Al Noat Zero, which is also not the best. It's not the best, but I did enjoy it. And Suicide no Gargantia or Gargantia of the Verdonous Planet came out. Gargantia, it's amazing. It has a story to tell, and it tells it well. The world it shows is beautiful, and the characters are charismatic, amazing, and I cried with it. Kakumeki was brave. It's a bit of a joke. That said, it isn't. It gets very uncomfortable at times. My most hated anime is probably Pirate Princess Fena, just because of how much wasted potential there was. I feel that. I did not watch Pirate Princess. I knew of it. I did not watch it. But the wasted potential. I totally get that. Kakumeki Barbari also had it. It had extremely cool mecha designs. It had extremely cool background music. The animation is not bad. The characters look fine. there are some really interesting looking characters, but then it turns into a joke that drove itself into a corner. And at that point, I was already too invested on the characters to let it go. And then at the end, I cried because of the main characters, even though I almost hated it the whole time. I couldn't believe it. It was a wild ride. It was a wild ride. Ah, I will never forget that anime for all the wrong reasons. Especially in the first episode, there is something really funny that happens, in which the main character goes on a sort of murderous rampage, and then the second he sees that the people he was mad about are okay, he just forgets completely about the people he killed. No effect to that. Just lets it go. Just moves on with his life. So funny. And it doesn't get better from there. It doesn't get any better. Yeah, that was an anime TED Talk. If you want to watch other anime that are very cool, I recommend Space Dandy. Very good. And I recommend the weird, not official trilogy of Tiger and Bunny, Dog and Krill, and Tiger and Bunny 2. Dog and Krill, it's like the successor of Tiger and Bunny before Tiger and Bunny 2 came out. It's really good. And again, Space Dandy is also wonderful. And I recommend another anime that I'm going to tell you right away. It's really weird. You are going to get weirded out. You are going to get a little lost. It has a lot happening. For some reason, I still have a lot of love for it. Love. Yes, love. It's Samurai Flamenco. It doesn't get any less weirder than the name says. Samurai Flamenco. The first two episodes are strangely good in a realistic sense. They are very realistic and very tasty of sorts. The rest of the episodes are wild. I love it. Please give it a watch. It's a love letter to like tokusatsus, pretty much. You know, like Kamen Rider, that kind of thing. So it's great. Well, anything that implies that, like even Godzilla, all of it. Power Rangers, all of it. Well, of course, Kamen Rider, Power. We know Power Rangers is just another version. Is it weirder than Furikuri though? Actually, I have a friend who really likes Furikuri, and they made me watch it with them, and it helped me a lot to understand it, and it feels fairly normal now. It's if you take everything literally, it's a lot less overwhelming, and it makes a lot more sense for some reason. So I would say it's weirder than Furikuri in the way in the topics it has, in the story it has, but not weirder in the way it shows them. Not at all. That reminds me of another weird anime that is Kuchubranko. Actually, Kuchubranko, it's a psychological anime about a psychologist that attends the seiyus that voice the characters. Like it's literally them. And basically diagnoses them with whatever they have. But it's very trippy. It's very trippy in the way it shows everything. Similar to Sayonara Setsubo Sensei, if you had seen it. That kind of very quick and almost absurd comedy that has a lot of layers underneath it. As said, um, Sayonara Setsubo Sensei, it's a lot more of comments about the culture and a lot of references. I'm coming out as a really big weeb, aren't I? Oh my god. And also it's coming close to the end, not that I see. I'm gonna try to finish at least the line art. What was the name again? You mean well, I named 3 in this time. Samurai Flamenco is literally samurai and flamenco. The other one is Kuchu Branco or Trapeze. I should probably write it down. I'm going to write it down. And the other is Sayonara Setsubo Sensei or Goodbye Despair Teacher, I guess will be translation. So I'm going to write them down. If you wonder why I use the Japanese names, it's because we don't really use the Spanish names to talk about them, but also we don't use the English names. So when people talk about Attack on Titan, we don't talk about Attack on Titan, we talk about Shingeki. That's why I remember more the Japanese names than the English ones. Branco and Sayonara Setsubo Sensei. Have I watched the Monogatari series? I have not. It's probably going to be a wild ride, and I don't feel very ready for it yet. Not one bit. Which is funny because I have watched multiple weird things, especially from Shaft. Like I love Penny Pony Dash, but the Monogatari series is quite long, so it takes a lot of commitment from me to be able to watch it. It's probably going to be great, despite the problematic things that I know that are in it. But I struggle. I struggle starting to watch things out of my own volition, so I need to get that. I need to get that drive to do it first. Which is probably going to take a while because right now I keep rewatching Skate Infinity and Sabiku Ibisco. Sabiku Ibisco is really good, and if anyone knows of it, please talk to me about it. I need to talk to someone about it. I rewatched it like 6 or 7 times. Wow. I mean, that's great. I'm glad you like it that much. So seeing people like things makes me a little more motivated to enjoy them too. So if you do like it, that helps. That helps me see what's great about it. I like Bobo 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 Bobo. Bobo 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 Bobo. Yeah. That's the guy with the afro, isn't it? The blonde afro. I remember. Bobo 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 Bobo. I vaguely remember because I know I watched it, but there are many series that I completely forgot about. Like I know I watched Marmalade Boy and Mirmo Bang, but I don't remember. I don't remember at all. There are animes that I have watched like 3 times because I keep forgetting that I watched them before. Always reminds me of another series with a similar name that is Sumomomomomomo, which is hilarious too. It's about the strongest families of sorts, like of martial arts, trying to marry their children to get up the most powerful hair, and the girls loves the guy. It's a very funny romantic comedy. It's very old too, now that I think about it. Yeah, most of these are quite old by now. I forget about that. I feel like the Nintendo DS still came out like what? Maybe a year, 2 years ago? Oh dear. Oh dear. hmm. No, that makes me think of so many things not that I think about it. There is a series that is technically an anime, and it's very old, and it's very important to me. Very important to me. And I'm going to mention it just because. So there is a series that's called um D'Artagnan y los Tres Mosqueperros, or what was it the other name? D'Artagnan and the Three Muskehounds. It's great. It's wonderful. It makes me so happy. It's literally just a retelling of them. Oh, thank you for that. It's literally just a retelling of the Three Musketeers, but with everyone is like anthropomized dogs and cats, and it's like for children, but it's still pretty hardcore. I love it. I love it so much. If you wonder, no one asked, but if you wonder, my favorite musketeer is Aramis. I love Aramis. He's like a bard, but with a sword, well, like any bard. I love him so much. He's kind of silly. He's a handsome, silly boy. I love the story of the Three Musketeers, and 10 years later and 20 years later. Haven't read all of them, but funnily enough, I mostly remember um I don't know how to pronounce the French name, so Alexandre Dumas. I only remember him right now, not because of the Musketeers, but because his son was kind of a prick. His son was the first one that used feminism as a word, and as an insult. As an insult, yes, as an insult. Someone had used that feminism a year prior in a medical study to refer to like some sort of feminization that happens during tuberculosis. At least that's what they saw on the research. And then the son of Alexander Dumas took that research and made it an insult for men that like to support women's rights and stuff. So that's what I remember right now. There was no reason to tell you that, but I was researching about some history of feminism and other things. That's why it's wild. It's wild. I'm sorry. This whole stream has been just me. I'm info dumping on you with bad English. I'm so sorry. It will not change. It will not change. That's all I can offer. Truly, that's all I am. I can only offer info dumping and moral support. That's my talent. But yeah, I think we are ready to wrap up because it's almost 5 and I'm getting kind of hungry. Not going to lie. I'm sorry we didn't advance that much. I spent too much talking. I really slow down when talking. That's okay. That's okay. It's part of the show. If I wanted to just draw quickly, I will do speed paints instead. Nothing grown up against them. I really like to watch streams of people drawing in silence too, but I'm I'm not good at staying like I'm not good at staying silent the same as I'm not good at talking. I sometimes I feel such a high drive to talk that I talk about nonsense, like literally just blabber, because I need to get it out. I need to get out that energy. It's wild, but then again, um, we finished that, so that's good. Oh wait, let me delete that. Let me erase that. There is that, and we got Dion almost line arted sorts. So this will probably go on for a long while. Thank you, thank you so much for joining me. This was technically my first stream, so I'm still very nervous. I still worry about wasting your time, but it's okay. It's okay. We are having fun, or I hope so. At least I had fun. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much for keeping me company, and have a nice day. Anything, I'll be, of course, on my Twitter as usual. And of course, whenever I finish one of these, because it's going to take long, I will send it to you as soon as it's done, and then when I finish everyone, I will publish them all. Of course. Goodbye, everyone. Take care. Thank you for the thank you for the good luck and everything.